Alright, it is a Tuesday, September the 14th, 9:29 a.m. and I haven't been looking too much into main washes. There's been just random freaking beeping sound on the computer. I have not been able to find the issue. I'm literally very close to just reinstalling Windows because I have no clue what that sound is, but this is the main washes. I think the newest thing I added is HRAA. I have no idea how I haven't been able to see something like this, but I will watch this for Morning Panic Bounce Plays. It's just going to be Morning Panic Bounce Plays for right now. I'll try to catch up, but yeah, that random sound was really throwing me off. I still look forward to today. Let's see if we get any nice price action. Alright, it is 9:47 a.m. and I want to make an update to that. I can't explain. It's like an 8-bit beeping sound. It sounds so freaking annoying. It's been really throwing me off. Actually, just throwing me off my groove. But I did get a trade and I did almost get filled. That was with ILUS. That was a Morning Panic Bounce Play. This one is working really nicely. I did try at 938. This is right here, and my entry was at 1698. So right about here, 1698, and it was starting to show that it could maybe do a reversal. Right, it did have this downtrend here, which was pretty impressive. And then, you know, when you see like a big green candle like this, almost as big as the previous candle, and it has so much volume, I've learned that sometimes, you know, all the yuppies who are just jumping on each other to get in on the Morning Panic Bounce Play are just, you know, tripping over each other, and they're just being sold into. All of their buying is just getting sold into. Now it is still able to go from 16.5 to closing at 17.21. Yeah, dude, that sound, I'm sorry if you guys hear it. It sounds a lot worse on the speakers, but you know, it does this move right here and it just gets sold into. So it has this downtrend, and that's when I was really interested in it. Maybe if I wasn't annoyed by that bouncing noise, I would probably have been into it. I just probably need to man up, but this thing is just going to be frequent. I have no idea what's making that sound. I was messing with a document, trying to, I guess I'll show it right here. I was making this little document right here, you know, just to have something to look at, because sometimes I want to like maybe get a better idea of what a percent change could be. So if, you know, a 1.5 penny stock goes to, you know, 1 in 6, you know, what is the percent change, just to get a better idea. I find that really handy, and me pressing maybe the space button so many times, I don't know, triggered that sound. I have no idea. I'll try to find a way out of it, but anyway, yeah, so when it started doing that turnaround price action, I tried to get in and I wasn't filled, which was totally fine. Maybe if I was quicker, if I wasn't so annoyed, I probably could have maybe have been in something like this. And in theory, I would have sold if I followed my rule. After the red candle here closed, I'd probably try selling at this 17.39, thinking maybe it's going to top under VWAP. After all, it did form a red candle after it started the uptrend, right? So that could clearly be what the situation could have been. It wasn't. It actually continued to go up to the 18s, which is pretty cool. No, I'm not upset at all. I did trade HRAA. Now this one is extra sketchy because it trades with a lot of range, and it is, I think, it must be like a super tiny float OTC. It's not even like a penny. It's like 41 pennies. It's not like one of these that are, you know, it's not like PBYA, right? This thing is a 41-cent stock, yet the market cap says it's 28 mil. So this thing just trades with a lot of range. It's a very very sketchy stock with price action that is extra sketchy. I did get in at 39.25. that was 944. I did trade a small size because of how this one really trades. It's just, I'm not too comfortable with it. I did get in right here, 39.25. Why? Because it was a level 2, potential level 2 reversal. In theory, I was going to risk the wick here at 38.53 if that breaks. I wasn't really trying to go for this wick right here breaking and making a new day low, because with the range this one trades, it could really do like a crazy panic. So I was in here just because it was showing some kind of level 2 reversal, and the wick right here was my risk level. and I sold at that was 946 right here, and that was 421. Sure, I could have maybe have sold better, but the thing here is that even though it didn't really make like a red candle, I considered it a red candle, and that, you know, it opened here, it closed here, and then it opens right here. This is kind of like a gap down. It didn't end up being red, but because it kind of just had this gap because of the price action is all weird and jumpy, but I almost consider that a red candle, which is why I got out when it looks like it was showing some major topping action at 42, I guess 43. Major topping action. I sold, you know, in theory it could have topped out, and it did get to this 40 level. Now it's breaking out of it now. Let's see, if I had to guess, yep, it's definitely going to hit VWAP. How much further is it going to go? I have no clue, but I don't mind my sell there at all, even though it wasn't like a red candle. Again, it was like a gap down from this green candle here. It had a gap down, so again I sold in this candle, and I did save myself from a headache of having to hold through this. I'm not really ready to hold through something like that, even with the smaller size I took, because of the fact that this thing just trades with a crazy amount of range. If you ask me, it was 13 bucks, a 7% move right there. PBYA also I wonder if you guys hear this sound too. PBYA is also had like a morning panic bounce play, but it looks like the bid and ask just lifted and the volume isn't really there. I don't know, maybe I could have been in this one if I wasn't so annoyed with that beeping sound, trying to find out how to fix it while the market was open. All I did now is just move the sound to my headphones. I hear it right now, but that's because I was working on it. I just wanted to do this quick, you know, update. This one is not really doing much at this point. No interest in PBYA. It kind of dies off after it does a morning panic bounce play. I'll watch this maybe if it makes like a higher low, a lower low. Maybe I'll be interested in that. ILUS is very nice. Yeah, this one went green on the day. That's pretty cool. I missed out. I tried to get filled. I didn't. That's totally fine. At least I nailed one of the two. And yeah, I'll just be looking for more setups, as well as how to freaking get rid of that sound. That's all I got for right now. Okay, it is 10:31. I think I have fixed that freaking beeping noise. Now, how did I fix it? I did a system restore. So I guess for any of you who know about computers, I just restored. Basically just went back to all of the settings from the other day, the 13th, and that, at least right now, is working because I don't hear any other sounds. Jeez, that was annoying. I was watching HRAA for maybe another, like a morning panic bounce play, lower low setup, thinking that maybe it can hold this 31.97, 32 level. But the issue is that the candle, before it became this big red candle, was still slightly below the levels, and even though it was just slightly below it, it was just not really something that nice. This thing could totally be the kind that turns around. You know, maybe by 2 p.m. it's like freaking already went past VWAP or something crazy like that. But, you know, it was only up 3 days, even though they were up 3 nice days. This thing just trades with a lot of range. This thing could totally turn around at this point right here. I might even try just a small position, but this thing could also just keep fading the rest of the day. Alright, it is 10:38, maybe like 5 seconds after I made that last video recording. I thought, that's a great idea, let me try to go in for a trade. I placed the order at 31.97, and ask just started to get you know, just started to get lifted off. It went to 31.98. It just kept up trending from there on forward. I'm glad to see this thing is working. Now it's at 34. So in theory, my little trade here at what was it, 31.97, right, 159, and then now it'd be up almost 20 bucks. That's pretty cool. So I thought that something like this could happen because it's, you know, a lot of these that have morning panic bounce plays, it's a bit sketchy to trade this one, but this is like the head of an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. So the theory now is that it makes a shoulder, and then, you know, maybe it makes another well, it makes the top here of the, this is called the neckline, but if it downtrends and makes a shoulder, I'll be interested in that, and if I miss it, that's fine, because this one kind of trades kind of sketchy with a lot of range, although it has started to consolidate and not be so crazy like it was before. Right, my trade was at 944. Yeah, that was trading this mess right here. This was pretty sketchy, but now it seems to be holding itself a lot better. So for that reason, I would like it to maybe, if it were to break this level here, make a really high level and then make a shoulder, and then I could maybe take a long position. It could totally work. You know, a lot of them that do morning panic bounce plays does something like this. Again, a little sketchy to trade the potential head of an inverse head and shoulders, because it might just break the day low again, but that's a potential setup. I'll be looking at that. Alright, it is 10:46 and is actually doing what I would like it to, you know, because when it makes a shoulder head and then it does this level higher than the neckline, it shows like it could be a very bullish potential. And now the worry point is that maybe, for example, this level could make the shoulder. It's going to make a base here and be the shoulder. I take a trade, and then what happens is that it breaks under that level, and then it makes the shoulder somewhere lower, or you know, it makes somewhere, maybe it makes it right here, or maybe it does something just completely out of the pattern. Alright, if it's going to do that, if the level 2 is just going to let something like that happen, I won't trade it, but you know, it would be nice if it would also just drop all the way to this shoulder level, and then with this extended point, that can really make it look like a very bullish looking inverse head and shoulder setup. I think this thing just kind of killed the pattern, which is fine. Today's been kind of sketchy. I did do this trade here. I could have done a trade here, and had I been in, maybe I would have sold at this 34 level because we had a red candle form. Maybe I could have done some kind of a trend line. No, yeah, this would have been the sell at 34. I doubt I would have held towards 38 if I would have taken something at 31.60 or whatever my entry was, 31.97. Alright, if this turns out to be the shoulder, that's totally fine. Maybe if it drops again to the level, I might consider it, but now it's kind of sketchy looking. I don't mind if I don't trade anything else today. That was kind of a bit crazy today with that annoying sound. Like, you need complete concentration when you're day trading. You need to be focused, and if you just have some uncontrolled freaking like beeping noise, it just sounds horrible, just popping up in and out. You know, that's fine. I think I actually did pretty well today, especially compared to yesterday and the day before. I just feel like I'm really there, you know, not letting setups fly away, at least in theory. You know, this one, I don't mind missing it again. Maybe I could have been quicker. I could have perhaps canceled the order at 31.97, put 31.98, and maybe I would have been executed, but I don't mind that. We'll see how this thing does. I'll make an update later. It's already getting close to 11 midday. This might be all the trades I'll have today. I'll look if there's any other runners that I've missed or something like that. There's probably at least one. That's all I got for right now. Alright, it is 1:05 p.m. and this might be the last recap until the market closes and see what everything has done at the end of the day. This is a new runner, PSRU. Unfortunately, it seems like maybe that little freaking beeping noise actually is still there. I heard it not too long ago. I've been too busy doing other things, looking at other things, but this is a new runner, PSRU. Now it is, I think this one, yeah, this one's the sketchy one because it's had like these, you know, big volume days that just peak and die off, like it did here, it did that here, it did that here. It did this one here with a decent amount of volume, so eventually this thing is going to top. And that's kind of like why I haven't really pushed myself to consider trading this. I wasn't really there for it when this price action was going on, but if I was there, I probably wouldn't have considered it anyway, because it had like a wick here, which is off of this high level right here, and then it kind of holds itself. But is it going to head back towards the bottom again at 74 and you're at 76? I guess it's not really that bad, and now it's at 90, so I wouldn't have held through all of this, obviously, but that was the case with that. ILUS, this was a super impressive morning panic bounce play. I'm glad I tried. even though I didn't get executed. Maybe if I didn't have that beeping sound going on and that, you know, all these other frustrations, these little tiny things, maybe I would have been in this. And again, I was in it with HRAA, and that was impressive. That was a setup here. So as for the inverse head and shoulders, it actually did this very sketchy downtrend, and yeah, it put up like a support level here, right at 33. But that would have been super sketchy for me to be interested in it. Maybe I need to push myself, but at the same time, it was just trading all weird. It was kind of jumping in price as well. It did get towards VWAP 41 from 33, so there was definitely a setup there, but I don't like the price action. That's really all I got for right now. I don't see any other runners that I really like, so I'll make an update later. But yeah, we do have a new runner, PSRU, but I'm not too interested in it. Alright, it is 6:12 p.m. and I'm here to call it off and just take a look at all the stocks and see what has happened since. I did have one trade, and that was, I like the percent gain. I traded small. I just made $13. It was a $200 position with HRAA. And again, my entry was 944. It was this morning panic bounce play setup here that I tried. I was going for the inverse head and shoulders. I actually thought about, you know, I tried to get I tried to get in here, but I was a bit too slow. Maybe if I was a bit quicker and I canceled my order, which was right here, and try to get the newest, you know, price on the ask, I probably could have been executed. It was a nice uptrend. It really was. Very rare that the head actually works better than the shoulder. Normally the shoulder works nicer, but this one was very clean. It's just that sometimes it doesn't form a head and it just keeps downtrending. It keeps making a new low. Like maybe this could have been the head right here, or this right here, right? It bounces a little. Here's the head, but sometimes it tries to form a level and then it just keeps fading, but it worked very nicely here. Again, I probably wouldn't have sold further than this 34 level, but that was the inverse head and shoulders in theory. PSRU continued the uptrend, but this one was kind of sketchy for me to really consider. It did keep running, but at the end of the day, I wasn't that interested anymore in trading. But this one continued to be a nice runner. It is known to not really hold its gains very long, so maybe tomorrow it can be a downtrend. In theory, perhaps if I was able to, I could be able to short something like this once lower highs are being formed or something like that. But I mean, this thing could have a gap down. I have no idea. Let's just see in theory. I doubt this one is shortable. It doesn't look like it's going to say anything as to whether it's shortable or not. The other one, ILUS, I was interested in that morning panic bounce play. I missed my entry. This was a nice runner too, so yeah, I tried my best. You know, this thing spiked. It did break that high right here and get towards VWAP, but that doesn't really happen too often, but I'm glad it did. Really thankful to have morning panic bounce play setups. I finally found out what that freaking annoying sound was, and that stocks to trade, because whenever somebody would one of the editors or one of the main people would post a message, I would get this notification, which was why I wasn't able to replicate that sound, you know, switching pages or typing or maybe certain commands or whatever. It was just stocks to trade. I haven't heard that sound since after I turned off sound notifications. After I had the update today, it turned on sound notifications, which stunk. We're back. No more crazy freaking thing that's going to throw me off. I still did my best with what I was given. I think I could have pushed myself even harder on the head of that inverse head and shoulders with HRAA, but yeah, just one trade here and very sketchy stock. And to me, it moves with a lot of range. I mean, this thing is casually, you know, has a range from the 50s to the freaking 20s, right? That's a lot of freaking range. That is a crazy amount of range. Very sketchy stock, so I'm actually happy with my small position size. It was a nice percent gain. You know, this thing could have just broken further down, and oh, I thought the bottom was going to be here, right, for the morning panic bounce play, and it rips to freaking 41 and you're down 10%. So that's all I got. Just a pretty good day given you know, in terms of everything that's happened. Could have been a lot better, could have been a lot worse, but I think it was better than yesterday. That's all I got. I look forward to tomorrow.